Well, I'm still here, like it or not. Hey everybody, Chris with WallowaHikes. Welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is for beginner backpackers. So if you're thinking about going out and doing an overnight trip, this is the place for you. So 1 year ago today, I decided I was going to take a chance and start uploading YouTube videos for beginner backpackers. I noticed that there was a lot of content for backpacking out there on YouTube, but not a lot of stuff for people who haven't actually been out there. So my intention was basically to share 25 years of knowledge and experience to help people who are interested in backpacking get out there and enjoy it. So that's what I did. I started a year ago today by uploading a video that I shot on a $40 phone in a spare room. Anybody can go out in the woods and sleep overnight. But enjoying it, that's a whole different thing. It comes from the idea that you already know a lot of this stuff. There's not a ton of content out there for people who have never gone backpacking before. And my intention was to help people who didn't know anything about backpacking but wanted to do it, get a little bit of knowledge, figure out what kind of gear they might need. And so I started a series of videos with that in mind. My first backpack I got at Walmart, and I didn't have access to an REI. I didn't have access to a lot of money. And now it's a year later, and I'm kind of surprised that I stuck to it. Kind of surprised that I was able to put out at least one video every week for the last 52 weeks. And so today, I thought I'd acknowledge that and take a look back at some of the things that I've shared on YouTube over the past year. So a separate compartment where you can put your sleeping bag, really handy. And this is gonna work for you, especially if you know how to fit a backpack. There's some really great sites. Teton Sports actually has a great video on how to fit a backpack. So I started with the gear. Basically, I did an introduction video, and after that, each video talked about a different piece of gear. So started with the backpack. And again, $40 camera, just propped up on a stool or a chair in a spare room, and talked about the different gear. What do you need for a sleeping bag? You need something that's going to be warm and comfortable. And you can buy any kind of sleeping bags. They go from anywhere from $20 to like $600. And starting out, we've talked about don't spend a lot of money. So started with backpacks and then moved on to like sleeping bags. And early on, I really didn't know what I was doing. Still don't really know what I'm doing. But back then, I was definitely influenced by what I was watching on YouTube. So people like Rob Pelton, Bryce Newbold, Stephen J. Reed. The more I saw of their things, the more it kind of influenced what I was doing. But not so light that you're going to freeze to death. You're not going to freeze to death. You might freeze to death. Would you say I have a plethora of sleeping bags? Oh yes, I would say you have a plethora of sleeping bags. Do you know what a plethora is? Doing. So if you look back over those videos over the last year, you'll see there were a few changes in tone and approach until I kind of found my own voice. Hey everybody, Chris here with WallowaHikes, and today let's talk about what's on your feet. So why do you need a sleeping pad? Well, a couple reasons. One is to be comfortable and not sleep on the hard ground. But another reason is that it'll keep you warm. So we're going to take a look at what some of these look like when they're blown up. Now, I just got this pad recently for Christmas from my sister. So while the video quality wasn't always great, the audio quality really suffered for a while. I went through trying some little $8 Amazon microphones, bought Walmart lighting, and you know, I learned as I went. Hey everybody, Chris with WallowaHikes. Welcome back. Large. It's also climate. Again, if you sleep on your back, this would probably be fine. I don't, and just it's not comfortable. But really, the content is what mattered, and because that's something that people would like to know about, a few of you came along and checked it out, and that was pretty cool. The first time I ever got a view that wasn't a relative, I was pretty thrilled, you know? But YouTube can be a pretty scary place. You know, you leave yourself open to all kinds of comments and things, but I continued because if nothing else, there's people in my family who would like to know more about how to get out there and backpack. And so that's the intent I had. So a map can be as simple as something like this. So we're taking a look at a map here that I drew, so don't make fun of it. So it definitely stumbled along in the beginning, but there's some pretty good information there. I might revisit some of that in the future now that I've got a few viewers and people have said that some of this stuff has been helpful to them. And that's the intent, you know. If we can get somebody out in the woods overnight and just embracing this thing that so many of us love, that's definitely a great thing, right? So again, I tried different things. Definitely the things that I was shooting outside looked a lot better instead of just a dinky little room with an overhead light. And as I was doing that, my good friend and companion, Captain Oates, somehow found his way into my videos time and time again. So he's become kind of a staple of the channel. If you've been around a while, you're definitely familiar with Captain Oates. In fact, the most viewed video on this channel is just him. So says a lot for me. So after I went through most of the basic gear, did some skills videos, some how-tos, worked my way into things like hanging your food bag. Hey everybody, Chris with WallowaHikes. Welcome back. Today we're gonna hang your food bag. So let's get started. Be very careful because after it goes over, it tends to swing back. Don't get hit in the face. All right. And after I had kind of run out of all the basic gear and basic skills, I stepped outside of the norm. The first video that really wasn't in line with those things was the Mountain House Scrambled Eggs Challenge, which did pretty well. I suffered making that video. Long time ago, I took a trip and I took Mountain House scrambled eggs for my breakfasts. And after 2 days, I decided I wasn't going to eat breakfast anymore. And I came back to town with 3 pouches of those eggs. They're that bad. So I've still got some. I thought about giving them away. And I think that would be kind of cruel. So instead of giving them away or throwing them away, today I want to see if I can make this edible. They still taste like Mountain House eggs. It wouldn't be bad with the cheese mixed with the bacon, mixed with salsa on a tortilla with no eggs. So I'm sorry, Mountain House, I love you, but you're not helping yourself with these. They're just,
They're not good. I'm sorry.
So I had started the channel in February in the middle of winter when I'm not backpacking. And part of that was, you know, good because it gave me focus in the off season. But as springtime came along, then it was time to get out there. So I started doing some trip videos. And although I had uploaded some little small things from trips I had done in the past and just shared on Facebook, this is the first time I did an actual trip video with this format in mind. And so I started out by attempting to summit Mount Adams. And by that time, I had picked up a 360 camera. So now I'm using a $40 phone and a 360 camera and an $8 microphone. And I think that actually turned out pretty well. And it also led into some of the videos where I follow up on those trips and talk about lessons learned. So that was the beginning of that. I think that turned out pretty well, even though ultimately summiting Mount Adams didn't happen. And then the next month went to attempt Mount Hood. It was a whiteout, so made a trip video on my plan B there. And then after that, I got to take my grandson backpacking for the very first time, which was maybe the most rewarding thing all year. And that was rewarding because if the whole point of me coming on here and sharing my knowledge to help people get out there, it's pretty awesome that his first experience got to be with me. And we had a fantastic time. And being on YouTube, it lets me save that trip so he can look at that, look back on that trip anytime in the future. And I think that's fantastic. So that renewed my joy and love of the outdoors. And yeah, we just had a great time. So it reminded me as I get older, I can share what I know so other people can enjoy that. So that kept me going on YouTube too. And of course, what started as a hobby that I said I would invest absolutely no money in, like backpacking gear, it became a little bit obsessive for me. So I did pick up some new camera gear. So by picking up a 360 camera, it let me get creative and try new things. So I took the Byke, went to the coast, checked out the Hobbit Trail, which is something I'd wanted to see forever, and had a little bit of fun with some of those shots. And I just kept doing this. And over time, a few people kind of took notice, and that was kind of validating for me. So I appreciate that. And again, mentioned to Captain Oates, who always seemed to find his way into my videos. So I decided to feature him in a video about how to go backpacking with a cat, which just don't do that. But that was a lot of fun.
Captain Oates had too much champagne.
And it kind of kept this fresh and fun for me as well. Did some trips, did the Timberline Trail, did a video on that, which is really great for me to look back on that. And I'm glad some of you found value in that as well. Went to the enchantments, and after that, I decided to visit Pacific Crest Trail Days. And I was hoping to shoot a video there, but you need permission. And so I reached out to Jason Wykunis, who started Pacific Crest Trail Days. He hiked the Pacific Crest Trail back in the day, got permission to shoot, and that was a lot of fun. I felt like that turned out really well. It gave me an opportunity to share the message of Hyke for mental health and a few others, which I felt was really important. And even though, you know, that only got a couple of hundred views, I think it's really nice that I can at least help to spread their message. So I had a lot of fun with that, and felt especially happy to hear Jason ask if he could share my video on the Pacific Crest Trail Days website. And again, shot with a $40 phone and a 360 camera. So pretty cool. And if you haven't checked that out, Pacific Crest Trail Days is great. And, you know, if you guys are in Oregon in August, I suggest checking it out. It's a lot of fun. And so as I went on, decided to kind of revisit some of the fundamentals, did some reviews and stuff like that. And it's been nice to try out new things that a lot of people aren't super aware of, and share some of that and discover these new things for myself. And so I would say it's kind of been a lot of fun. Sometimes it's a bit of a struggle. Not proud of everything I put out over the last 52 weeks. Some of it I'm very proud of, and some of what I'm very proud of just failed miserably as far as views go, but it reminds me of why I started this in the first place. And that is to share what I know. So hopefully other people who are on the fence about going out there, but maybe are afraid to do it or think they don't know enough, are going to get out there and try backpacking and fall in love with it the way I did. And over the course of this, I've met lots of people behind the scenes. I've formed relationships with other YouTube content creators, and I've got to experience group backpacking with my favorite podcaster, Carl Mandrioli from Backpacking in Blisters. And it just keeps getting me out there, keeps me learning and growing, and the comments, so many comments. And for the most part, they're all very positive. There's a few trolls out there. I'm familiar with trolls. I played Dungeons and Dragons, and I know as much as you fight them, they're going to regenerate, right? So I'm such a geek. But yeah, the comments have been great. People sharing knowledge. I've learned from the comments. My viewers have learned from the comments. So it's pretty cool that some of you guys out there that have a lot of experience backpacking tune in, chime in, subscribe. I appreciate it. I had no idea that I'd still be doing this after a month, let alone a year. And now that we're in the middle of winter again, I'm trying winter backpacking, hot tent camping. And it's been really cool so far because now I'm a beginner again. And I get to share my beginner experience with the people out there. And hopefully that's inspiring. And hopefully that lets people know you can make mistakes and you can screw up and you can learn and get better. And after 25 years, I've screwed a lot of things up. And it's taught me a lot. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the coming year. I intend to keep doing this. I don't know if I'll be doing this every week, but if I've got something to say, happy to share it. And if there's something you guys want to know or you want to see, I want to hear that because this channel is for you. And so tell me what you want, and that's what you'll get, right? And it's free. So not a broad appeal here, but I felt for my own sake, I needed to acknowledge after a year, I'm still doing this. And that's pretty cool. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.